Seconds.
Yeah, just gotta hit a quick workout real quick. It's I don't even know I'm here. Just a few burpees.
Wouldn't be too bad.
I got band rehearsal.
Yeah.
And you're the drummer.
I have to fart. Does that count?
Okay, now that's why I dropped the wine, all right?
Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody, we're live.
Cool.
Hey, first of all, hi. My name is Jay Hitt, and I am the managing director of Unexpected Productions at the Market Theater down here at Pike Place Market. And we've been an improv company for over 30 years now. It's been about 37 years. 1983 was when we started as an improv company. And of course, now that there's been some things happening that caused a lot of theaters to close down, including us, and we've resulted into throwing things out online, doing what we can to stay active in the arts, and nobody's making any money. We're all just doing this for the fun and excitement, I guess. Typically, tonight is a duo night. So if you know Unexpected Productions, we do duos. We've been doing duos for the last 13 years here at our theater, and it's where two people will come in. They'll do improv, and they might be just friends. They might be people from improv groups, improv companies from around the world, or around Seattle at least, sometimes around the world. But yeah, we've been doing that for about 13 years. But tonight, we have a really special group of people who have done their improvisers. They've been improvising for a while. They've been part of Unexpected Productions. Some of them have moved away, but I'll introduce all of them. So we have, I'll say we have members of Black Eyes / TrIO / Unexpected Productions. Let's give it up for all those guys. First of all, here's Thandi. We have Thandi right here. Here's Thandi. Hey, Thandi. Hey, everybody. Yeah, you can applaud for Thandi. Thandi moved to Austin. How's Austin been?
I don't know. I'm in Dallas.
Oh.
Well, actually, you know what? That's not even correct. It's okay. I'm Irving. But you know, inside is nice.
Oh, nice.
And outside is warm.
Yeah. Well, it's very good to see you. And we have Obadiah. Obadiah is out. He's outside right now. You can see him out there. How's it going out there?
You know, just handling it, man.
Yeah. Oh well, you were in Los Angeles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or somewhere close.
Yes, I am in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get more into that. But have you been working, or at least? I mean, nobody's been working, right? Never mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I started to, but yeah, no.
Nah, I gotta understand. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get back. We'll get back to you here, and we have Issiah here. Here's Issiah. Everybody. Issiah. So this is Issiah's first Zoom call, and you've just been chilling out, living the dream of isolation. Is that?
No, I got a part full time at a dispensary in South Seattle. So I just been doing that and staying out the way. Yeah. So I just been selling recreational marijuana.
Wow, nice. Well,
Yeah.
Doing
Nice.
the work.
Very
work,
Which is
good
essential.
work.
Very
definitely
essential.
an essential. Yeah.
Yeah, very, yeah.
Yeah. And here we have Dre. Hey, Dre.
What up, y'all?
Hey.
Great.
Great.
And Dre actually came down. There's a promotion going on for the Market Foundation, so he came down with my wife Tiffany. They were filming a promotion of that, so he's actually in the theater, but we're very social distance. We're 6,000 feet apart. So and the light is very bright, and so it's he's hiding the light from his
Oh, man.
eyes. And maybe hiding all the tears. Oh, okay.
I don't hide those. I post those apparently. I don't know what's wrong.
And we have also Selena. Selena is she started Unexpected Productions in the early 90s, right? Early 1990s. Yeah. Well, and you've been busy. You've been fighting some sickness, not non-COVID sickness.
Non-COVID.
Yeah.
You know, knock on wood, non-COVID. But honestly, do we know? Because I feel like during this whole quarantine, I have not been healthy, but I haven't been like, you know, sick. It's just I've had this constant little cough, this struggle with my asthma, so I was predispositioned, and so it's been interesting. But then I started out with a household of we had 10 people in my house, and my daughter and her family just recently moved out 3 weeks ago. But none of us have had COVID, and so yeah, it's been weird. It's been a ride.
Oh man, yeah. This whole thing has been a big crazy weird ride. Well, the first thing before we we'll get into a lot of that stuff, a lot of the climate of today. But the first thing I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about was your journey to since it's kind of an improv show, even though even today, your journey getting involved in the theater and getting involved in maybe in theater in general, or getting involved in specifically the Unexpected Productions ensemble, and that led you up to it at least. So Selena, did you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. Actually, my journey into getting involved with Unexpected Productions was you, Jay. Remember, at the time I was doing stand-up comedy and doing pretty well and traveling around the US and Canada. And Jay thought that I would be a really great asset to UP. At that time, he was the only African-American person involved with Unexpected Production. And so, it's lonely when you're the only POC person. So he was like, hey, let's get a sister in here too. And it was you and I call him Nicolas Cage. You always have to remind me of his name, your friend.
Oh, yeah. Mike Cap.
Mike Cap. Yes.
Yeah, that was Mike Cap.
Yeah, and you had tried a little bit of doing some stand-up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So that was how we all connected, was on the stand-up stage.
Oh, yeah. I tried.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was rough, but that led me to realize I don't like scripted stuff as much as improv, I guess. But but you were always great. You were very, very physical. I remember you did a pantomime of getting ready for work, or getting ready for something, a date or something. I can't remember.
My mime.
Yeah.
My comedy mime piece was going into a woman's restroom anywhere.
Oh.
And it wasn't necessarily getting ready. It was just what women do when they go into the restroom, which is check your makeup as you're waiting for someone to get out of the bathroom that you need to use. And And it was the whole thing of the anxiety of urination coming on.
Oh,
So that was my little stand-up mime bit, which worked a lot considering for stand-up, it's all about talking. And then I brought mime back into a stand-up bit, which to this day still, I mean, people still ask me to do that bit.
Yeah, well, it was great, and you know, I love mime. Most of us here were in a mime show that we did here at Unexpected Productions, and so I'd love to see more of that all the time, of course. And now you're producing events, and what are some of the events that you're doing?
Well, so what I've become sort of known for is producing a music festival called Hoodstock, and we had 12 years. I'm actually think I'm actually going to do it for this year, which would be August 1st. So I will be the only festival that will be happening this summer, Hoodstock, and we're calling it the Masked event. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but again, Hoodstock is produced on private property. It's produced at the Milky Way House, which is my home, and I have a full lot that we produce the festival on. And so I sort of put my feelers out there, and people feel that August 1st, everyone is wanting me to do it. My chef comes from Louisiana, and so he contacted me and he was like, I need you to do this. And he's gonna fly it from Louisiana because he said he needs me to do this event. So I'm gonna do it August 1st.
August 1st, wow. Well, cool.
And it's outdoors. It's an outdoors music and entertainment festival. I mean, we have spoken word, we have DJs, then we have live bands. And so I think artists are looking for something right now, and I think I'm gonna do it and just really encourage people to wear masks.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. That's great. I hope I get a chance to pop in.
I hope so too. August 1st, mark your calendars. You heard it here first.
Hey.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
This will be our 13th year too, so lucky number 13, I feel. And cool. I think it's ironic that this will be the 13th year, and with the COVID thing.
Well, the lucky number.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks. And let's go to how about Dre next? We'll go to Dre. I think you were the first show you did with Unexpected Productions, at least, was the hip opera, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I did a show, I used to just come through here for the duos, so it's fitting that I'm kicking it back here. All the years later, we came through, premiered with my best friend Ramon Frost holding it down, Stop Sign.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Stop Sign, that's right. Yeah, he was great.
Then one day they were like, one day he set me up. He set me up on stage and was like, all right, Dre, now rap. And I was just like, you mother, okay. And then I started rapping. They're like, oh my God. I don't even think I did that well, to be honest, on that particular one. But everybody was like, whoa, you did well. You should join the hip hopper. We need to link you up with Tiffany. And I was like, Tiffany, that name sounds so. Oh, we had already linked up doing karaoke. So I was like, oh, man, these white people. I was really excited to be here.
Oh, that's so cool. And then you got involved in other shows as well. You did
yeah, my second show was Outer Rim. Tony helped co-produce that one out there, directing it. It was pretty cool, space western. It was a lot of fun. Getting my toes wet in this improv thing.
Yeah,
I was pretty new to the game.
Yeah, well, and now you're a big teacher. In teaching improv and hip hop and co-teaching and directing.
Only tall, It's been really fun though to see other people who are like, nah, I've never really known much about hip hop, and they're like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun, and they're like learning more about the history, where it comes from, and how to embrace their own stank. You gotta like get in there and know that's you, and that's how you get down and operate.
Yeah, it's been great, and you're that's one of the things I love about you is how you do tell people to embrace your own stank, and by that you mean just you find your own story, whatever story you have. That's the story. I think is that kind of right? Embrace your own stank. Is that what that means?
Yeah, well, tell it your way. We're drawing from your history. Don't do it like you've seen somebody do it in that one video in that other place. Do it like you do it because it's your story, and that's important and valid. You don't got to make something up.
Yeah,
it's a way to metabolize the trauma we've been through, so we can utilize that for good things and release it and work through it instead of become, victims to it.
Yeah, that's great advice. Great advice. And I believe, I think the next one who kind of swooped in there was Obadiah. Didn't you?
Yeah.
You kind of came in. You did a few. You filmed. You were doing videos for Chelsea Binta, I think, right? Mm-hmm. That was the first couple times you were introduced to the theater, and then you started doing some duos. And what kind of got you involved? I started it, but I'll let you.
Well, you did, Jay Hitt. But originally, before you, who brought me in originally was Chelsea. She lives by Blackwell now, Chelsea Blackwell. And I had left school in Columbia College, Chicago, and I came back to Seattle, and I was looking for work. So I was following her around and with a camera and just shooting her shows. And she would go, she was at UP a lot. She was the only other, person of color, black person, time we thought black person, who was at the theater besides, Selena, whose photo was on the wall. I after being with Chelsea for a little bit, she ended up leaving, and I started doing duos. And at the same time, I was doing production around the city, like with different reality shows and things like that at that time. And then I think 2018, when TrIO was created, and we all got into the company together at the same time. That's when I really got super involved.
Yeah, that was awesome. And now you're in LA trying to live the dream down there.
Yeah, that was the plan. But it takes a lot of people to make movies that get really close together. So there's not a lot of that happening right now.
Oh yeah. Well, everybody's on the same playing field now. I guess everything's leveled out now.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think ultimately it's good. It's better for me personally. I just need more time to be with me.
Yeah, and one of your early duos was Issiah, right?
Issiah? Maybe. I mean, Issiah and I had come. He had come in, I think, a couple times. Issiah can correct me if I'm wrong. You're talking, but a couple times he had come in with me when I was doing the duos earlier on. Issiah came in a little bit after me. He was busy doing his own thing too. Yeah.
And I think in the classes and that kind of thing, I think Thandi might have been. We'll go to Thandi now, and then we'll come back to Issiah for sure. Save you for last. So what was your kind of journey to get here or to get into the improv world?
I started I went through a breakup. I needed somewhere to go, stay at home, act like I was doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to the show, and then actually seen Dre in Outer Rim. I was watching him in Audi, and I spoke with them afterwards, and they told me about duos. So I'd never come to any of the duo showcases. I'd only come to some of the Friday and Saturday night theater sports show, which was amazing. Blew my mind every time. And I thought, I could totally do that. And then I did. That's what I've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
With Obadiah and Issiah, they were already a duo. And I just was like, I could do that. And I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk all about the TrIO, but right now you're in.
I also have to give a shout out to Tiffany, who actually started. Her and then Laurel came in for one day, and it just really expanded my mind. Like everything that Tiffany was teaching, like Laurel brought home and reeled in. And level one is very just opening and freeing, and that was just Very just monumental thing that I needed to push me to go into the theater, be a part of it. Yeah.
Oh, and now you're hanging out in Dallas, sorry, or in the other place near Dallas.
In Irving, no, I know.
Yeah, and you're everything's going okay there. How's Dallas in regards to some of the craziness? I know we're going to get more into that, but I just wanted to quickly ask about that.
I honestly, I don't know too much. I've not been outside or in town when the marches have happened, so I'm not sure. I've been sleeping the past 2 days a lot.
Yeah.
Resting up. I don't know what's going on outside. Other than it's very peaceful here. There are a couple protests. I haven't heard anything heard about Seattle. I'll say that. What I have heard has been really nice and peaceful, and things that have been some really positive things.
Good. Well, and last but not least, we have Issiah. Hey, Issiah.
Hey.
And you and Obadiah knew each other in 2nd grade?
No, 8th grade.
8th grade.
Feels like it sometimes.
Feels like 2nd grade though. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, 8th grade though. So since 2008, so we're going on like 12 years now. That's my dog.
Wow.
Oh man,
you're old as hell, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about your improv journey? Like how
that was I remember, I don't know how Obadiah got me to come, but I remember I was kicking it with him and he was like, hey man, I'm going to this thing downtown involving the arts. I was like, let's do it, bro. I think he kept bringing the word improv up a lot. I'm like, what is this stuff? Because I never watched his line anyway, nothing like that, so I wasn't really too familiar with it. And he brought me to this little weird alley. He brought me to this weird door, to this welcoming theater, and I got to see for the first time like people go on stage, do something out of nowhere, and then people reacted lovingly to it. And I was like, this is it. This was why I got kicked out of high school class over and over again. This right here. No. But it was just another great way to have a creative outlet. And like after my first duo, like seeing one, I was like, it only took me like 2 more times for me to see it. I was on stage, and it's been hard for y'all to kick me off since. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and and you came in, you got accepted in without having really any formal training in improv. You did theater and that kind of thing, but
I've never done any like improv classes or anything like that. But I feel like I've been doing it my whole life when I'm doing it. I feel like I've been doing just improv without the stage. So I'm just glad UP offered me the stage to finally do it.
Yeah, and one of my all-time favorite pictures was this picture here of you and Jill Ferris, our education director. Little I think that was theater sports, wasn't it?
Wow, yeah, that is prime right there. Yes, and that is a prime example of what Jill does for me on stage, which is carry me. She is amazing. Yeah, that was a recent one. Wow. Yeah, that was like the last few times I was on stage before this lockdown. Yeah.
It was very funny. It was funny. You guys had great chemistry too. I feel like you're able to build chemistry with a lot of people on stage. And people really trust you. And speaking of chemistry, you and Thandi, Obadiah, you three developed or got involved, I guess, through duos and then meeting, and you ended up doing TrIO. I believe I think Dave Clapper invited you to his cast of one for the first time. Was that?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Shout out to, by the way. Yeah, I remember he wanted like people of color representing him for his like the first sets and whatnot, and then I remember talking to me with I, and then we saw Tanya over there, and this she was flipped up. She was like, "Yeah, I could do it with y'all," and we didn't even know Tanya. She was just so down. And after that, like the rest was history. Like after that, TrIO was born.
Yeah, here's an old TrIO pic. Let me.
Wow.
One of the early. This is from June of This would be from June of 2018.
I love you guys' outfits. You are like color coordinated and everything.
I don't think we
I
planned that
know.
either.
That leather jacket is gone. Okay, wow.
I have those
Hello.
You haven't cut your hair since.
No, I haven't.
No.
Still waiting on this movie to be finished filming, so I can't. I'm going too soon. Yeah.
I'll leave that on there. And but since then you've went out. You did festivals, right? I like seeing you. You did improv festivals. You definitely did just shows around Seattle as TrIO, and you got really popular. And people would talk about your energy, and I think it was that just the physicality, the physical energy that you had. Like Obadiah would run and jump over a block, and then he'd run out into the audience, and then Thandi would be on the floor. Issiah would be standing up on a block yelling at somebody, and down on the floor on the ground. And you guys, just some of the stuff he would do was really fun, really, really wonderful. It was so it was probably kind of I bet it was hard to at least temporarily, say goodbye, or at least not goodbye, but split up to different towns and that kind of thing. But you keep in touch pretty regularly still?
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
It was
Cool.
tough, but we have the internet these days.
Yeah.
We're still
That makes
together.
Makes it a little easier.
Mhm.
Well, and then that led into another show that we did. Of course, I got a little picture. One night we had a quad night, and we ended up doing a scene. So we can find it here. A little scene that Dre wanted to name it Black Ice, I think. Right? No, it was the original, the very first Black Ice that we.
Oh.
Wow.
That was like a theater sports night, wasn't it? Or
Oh yeah. I think it was.
Yeah.
Right. The first one was the theater sports, right? And the first one was
We're just a team.
yeah.
Oh my God. Jay, your head is so shiny.
My head is bright. It is a bright head. Yeah. But then we did a sitcom. It was kind of I don't know. I had laryngitis and some.
Oh yeah.
But
Getting right back to that mimery.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'll do that. Go back to. And we're back in gallery view, right? We're back in the full gallery view here. I can see all of you.
Got you.
Oh, okay, good. Making sure. I don't know what.
I think I was accidentally controlling that earlier, so if it kept switching back and forth, I think me and Tony were playing tug of war. I didn't realize.
Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah. So we did that. Then it developed into a show that we did on Sunday, and we did it through for Black History Month this year, and it was one of the last Sunday shows we did before the virus hit. One of the things that comes up a lot in the I'm changing my background. One of the things that comes up a lot in the improv world, I guess, is the term tokenism. You guys have heard that word before, where maybe an improv company might have one African American player, and well, I guess I was going to get your thoughts on that, like that term that kind of comes out. People are afraid of that. I've noticed. I've gotten some questions about that. And I was wondering what your thoughts might be.
What do you mean they're afraid of it?
Yeah, well, they're afraid that if they do a show, or if they invite a person of color into the show, they're doing it, and it becomes it becomes tokenism, or they're calling it tokenism. And this is just one of the few questions that I've gotten, and I was wondering what your thoughts were on it. Like I don't know. I don't think about it until I'm asked kind of about it, I guess. So it might be. I was wondering if you ever had that.
I have views on that.
Okay.
And my view is it definitely goes back to the group that you're performing with. Because if they are a group that is embracing the reality of life and everybody in it, then no. You know, if that singular person of color that they have in their group is supposed to represent all the issues that they feel they want to touch on and come across as, oh, hey, look at us, you know, we're current, you know, we're on top of things, then yeah, it is totally that. However, if that individual person of color is speaking their truth and they're being supported by that group in those moments, that's different. But it's also a very fine line, because as long as everyone is feeling, as long as the people, the white people around that person of color is feeling comfortable and included, then they don't have a problem with it. But if they feel uncomfortable, or if it's touching on something that they don't want to deal with or be a part of, then all of a sudden there's a problem. And so I think there is that fine line of tokenism because of this whole thing of, oh, we want to feel relevant. We want to feel like we're dealing with issues, relevant issues in a social responsible way, you know, but as soon as it starts touching nerves, you know, a lot of times you will be bailed upon. You will be kicked to the curb, or you will be like, all of a sudden, well, this doesn't represent the point of view of everybody involved, or, you know, or this person is being a little aggressive or angry or whatever, you know, and especially if you are a soul person, it's really difficult because you don't have that support. So, yeah, I think you can say that tokenism, in my perspective, I think tokenism exists.
Yeah, and you know, and that I've heard the word used for not just people of color, but also in terms of now sometimes there's only one female in an improv group as well, or other ethnic groups, or you know, but it's been thrown out there a little bit. So I thought I'd get your view on it.
Can I get some clarification on that question? I have like a follow-up question to the question.
Okay,
cool. And first, man, thank you, Jay, for giving us the opportunity to talk about this.
Yeah.
So verbatim, what was the question that was given to you?
Oh, well, okay. The question is, I guess, to approach you, how do you? I wrote down the word tokenism.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
What are your thoughts on it, basically? Like, what are your thoughts on the term tokenism, and in regards to being maybe the only Black person in a group, or people being afraid to ask you because they're afraid that they'll offend you because they're asking because you're Black, or is it?
No, that's the part.
Yeah.
Is that it? I feel like that was the part I was trying to respond to. That you feel like you're doing it because they're Black. That's a very personal issue. That's something that you, as whoever came up with that, and if they're not, well, regardless of what you are, like you said, it could be a token of anybody. You can make a token out of anybody. But if you make a token out of somebody in your head, then you're already doing some work that this system has taught you to do. You're already you're already saying that this person's different in your head. And that's work that you have to do. You have to go look up internalize racism and figure out what that is, or internalize sexism or internalize homophobia. Like it's really up to the individual to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was wondering, so you Obadiah used to work for a company that would go to businesses and make sure that they were being compliant, race compliant. Is that something?
Yeah. Let's tell you about that. That's weird. It's a good interview question. Yeah, I worked for the Office of Civil Rights. I was, I guess I can talk about it now. I just went in to do job interviews for the city, and there was another guy, this white guy, who matched me in personality, same mannerisms, same like education, all that. And we went in, we did the same interview, and then we did objective reports of that interview, gave them to a lawyer from the city, and they would put the interviews against each other. I never saw his, he never saw mine, but then they would see if there's any discrepancies in like payment offers or benefit offers, and then we did it again with housing. So they said if there was any like deals that they were giving the other person that they weren't giving me. So we were just doing like a objective testing on housing and jobs.
Wow. Did you have to get any suits or any warnings, I guess, to people?
No, not personally. My job was purely performance. I had a couple of conversations with the lawyer about like what it meant in terms of the policy and city codes and things like that, like what things that we were talking about looking for meant. But I didn't have a lot of work to do in the sort of legal department.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. And what was it? Last question about it, was it exciting, fun, or was it depressing? Like what?
It was all of those things. It was like being on stage at UP. You're gonna run into something every time. You're gonna run into some emotion that you may not have expected to run into. Which is part of what we do. It's on the building's name. So.
Another thing that I was wondering about is one of the things that happens, I think, in improv in general, is we do sometimes shy away from social issues. I guess the question is using improv as a voice to speak up. I mean, we're kind of doing it here. This is more of an interview, but like within scene work, there's satire and there's just addressing some of the issues that are out there in the moment. We've had a lot of questions on that. Some people shy away from it. Others want to overly do it or constantly do it, I guess. What are your thoughts on that? Anybody out there, like as far as like bringing it onto the stage? I know we don't want to overdo it, but we don't want to underdo it either. Like an example might be doing an improv show. Like say the six of us did a black eye show during the stuff that's going on now. How do you feel, I guess, about that? Do you think it might be good to touch on it or just hit it hard? Like what are I guess I'm trying to see your opinions on this whole crazy thing. The voice, having a voice and using it at a venue or on a platform of improv scenes, fictional improv scenes.
Well, honestly, it's kind of it's very, I think it's case by case, because usually those things typically, well, when I see it, I do a lot of theater sports shows. So usually depending on the team that you're with, you might or might not be able to portray a certain viewpoint on a social justice topic, especially if like you don't have any of the people currently in this chat. It'll be extremely hard to do something social justice worthy because the other cast members are predominantly white. So usually I would say in that predicament, like let's say there isn't no Dre, me, Selena, Obadiah, Jay on stage to help with that portrayal, and it's just a group of white people and you guys are stuck on there and you're like, what do we do in a situation? That's the perfect time to pull out your old white allyship book and see what you can do with your voice and your current privilege at the time to amplify that current situation. You know, you don't necessarily have to be apologetic or always sorry. Just be like, we're not going to do it because X, Y, Z, or shy away from it because, you know, it's like everywhere else in the world is not shying away from it one way or another. So why should we? We're a form of arts. So, but let's say one of us is on stage. Me personally, I have no problems taking the reins on that if it arises, depending on the situation. I also believe any of other people in this other chat would also take the reins because they're well immersed and know what to do in that time of situation. So it just, again, depends case by case. Like I recall a theater sports, we were doing arms debate and Bill Z was my debater, and I believe it was along the lines of Trump, and he was basically he was the one agreeing with Trump, and he felt so uncomfortable doing it. We just ended up agreeing with each other, and the scene ended really quickly. And I remember during notes he apologized about that. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you know, like I realized, like, you know, like I'm not really like that, but I understand, like in those times, like I have to portray that." And you know, that's a good realization that he had, because just how racist people portray themselves in the movies, like, you know, they're not racist, but they're portraying that racist character. You know, you have to do that. The movie is portrayed a certain way. So, you know, that's another way, you know, you can help out, is just, you know, maybe you have to play the bad guy. You know, we won't think you're a bad guy after the scene, but you know, it helps because it helps develop the whole scene. So it's just, again, it's just very case specific, but you know, it just depends on who you got on deck, depending on the show that you're doing, I think.
Yeah. I agree. In acting, we're playing characters. We're supposed to be playing characters. I know in improv we have a lot that comes from ourselves because it's on the spot. But we're supposed to be playing characters. So I definitely agree with you. And I remember a show we did. I think it was Tony, who's doing tech. Actually, was playing the bad guy. He was playing. It was Obadiah. And I know I was sitting next to Thandi. We were watching it, and Tiffany. It was I think a Ray Bradbury show, and Obadiah played a Martian a Martian, but he landed on Venus. He was coming to Venus, and he met a Venetian girl. And I think Tony was either the brother or the father or something. Who was the Venetian father who was really against this relationship, and I remember Thandi, you were just like slapping your leg. You're going, oh my god! You're laughing. It was and it was perfect. I mean, and we're the only black guy on stage, and you're playing this Martian. And
that bravery is really important.
The babies.
No, the bravery.
Oh, the bravery.
The bravery. I think I remember at another time I was in the audience. I don't remember if I was a cast member or an ensemble member yet, but I gave him the suggestion slavery at one point, and people on the stage were pretty uncomfortable with that, and they
what was the suggestion?
Slavery.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that. You're next to me. Yeah. And I remember the feeling as an audience member being like, they didn't take that, and then I began to wonder why slavery was something that I shouldn't have said, or something we shouldn't be talking about in this room of artists who should be free from, like Billsy said in those notes, like I should have been free from the character. I should have been, attached to, the goal that the character had, not who the character was, and that can really change what you see on stage. It makes you slap your knee when it's like, oh man, these people aren't afraid of reality, and that fear, I think, comes from confusion. I believe all fear, anger, hate comes from confusion, and that confusion is rooted in just a misunderstanding of history, or misunderstanding or discomfort with Black history in particular, specifically with that. And then there's also the scenes of I'm sure all of us have been in a scene where it's like, okay, it's because I'm Black. And that's fine. We're all going to do that. But when it comes to somebody else taking on these roles, when it comes to white people taking on these roles that are uncomfortable, I think it's really important to look at why you're uncomfortable doing these things, because that's the problem, not the thing. The problem is that you're not comfortable enough. So you got to look at what that is, what's making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember early on too, back when I had hair. My hair was almost like yours.
I'm sorry,
guess,
Jay. I've known you a long time. Your hair was never like his.
it got there in the wind.
It's just a real tight fade. Just a super tight fade.
But for me, I think as artists, and I don't, artists, period, we have a responsibility to represent society, reality, social issues, all of it. What we do as artists is comment on reality, on our social norms. And I think it's our responsibility to push that envelope and to push those buttons and to make people see the art of life in a different view, in a different light. The art of life, whether it's good or bad. And that is why we are artists and why we do the things that we do, is because in different ways we're expressing our voices in terms of what we like and don't like, and how we're being molded and formed through our experiences, our social experiences, and then at the same time expressing the wrongs, the rights, the goods, the bads that we see in those experiences. I mean, that's an artist.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if we really go back to what the basics of art is, I mean, I've been doing theater for my entire life. I've read books by people like Uta Hagen, who would tell you that acting is to live believably imagined circumstances. So it's not like we're going on here just putting on a character and getting crazy. Like, no, we're going out here and we're trying to be as authentic as we can to what it is in that human reality that we live in. And it's crazy because, like, the biggest thing about theater is that we live in the moment. Everybody, like, that's what we do. We live in the now, we live in the present. I'm over here reading this book called My Grandmother's Hands by Resmaa Menakem, and it's ridiculous. I'm just going to read like the quickest of passage, just like one passage. And it's, our bodies exist in the present. To your thinking brain, there's the present and the future, but to the traumatized body, there is only the now. And I mean, I feel like we could vibe with that just a little bit harder than the average person who's not recognizing that what you're seeing on the news, what you're seeing around you, what we're going through, what we've been through with the pandemic, with this trauma, with slavery and what came from before that, with the colonization, what came before that, which was people were getting maimed and quartered in the middle of the street during the Middle Ages. All of this brought trauma onto the bodies that we carry through, and we're trying to figure out ways to express that. So when somebody brings a question like slavery, that's something that they need, that's on their mind. That's something that's on their heart, and that's something that's real. So if we come out there and be as authentic as we can and trying to understand like where that is, where we are in that, I mean, that's all anybody can ask. If we can live through that right now as believably as possible, then we can start to work through this trauma. We can metabolize that and become better from it. And I think that's the key, is working with.
Oh, what? What? No.
Definitely,
Yeah, no.
art is about truth.
Ray. You froze up there at the end there.
Art is definitely about truth, and that's why you have that whole thing about truth in comedy. We laugh at what we know, and so it's all about that truth.
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't know if you were there, Selena, but I played a character that was getting chased by the Ku Klux Klan on stage, and to me it was just kind of normal. I was, I guess not that it was normal, but I came from, I came from Wyoming. They were nice there. No, they weren't. But I do remember afterwards, everybody was really uncomfortable, and the audience was uncomfortable. I think they were looking around to see if there were maybe other Black people in the audience, but I did realize that, I think what I'm doing is really edgy for the average person, and a lot of it, I think, comes maybe from compassion in a way too. Like there was a question that I had about, we hear the term white guilt, and I was wondering what your kind of definition, anybody wants to take it, a definition of that is, because there's the white guilt, but there's also human compassion as well, and trying to figure out like what the big difference is might be hard for a lot of people to know or to understand. For example, I think human compassion. So for me, I was watching the protests, and there was a man, an African-American man, who was tear gas. He had tear gas. He was just, he couldn't see. And then this older lady, a white lady, came out and was pouring milk on his eyes to get him to see again. And the TrIO 7 caught that, and they were watching it happen. And they went over and interviewed him, and it was a really great interview. It was his first protest, and he was really grateful to the lady who helped him and all that. And I feel that's where the compassion part comes in, versus maybe I don't know, what might be your kind of take on the term white guilt there? I know it's a hard question, maybe, but
I mean, I might try to run with, like, compassion comes from just being there for people in their time of need, or just being a good friend. Like that's one thing. White guilt that they bring up is an internalized need, or like you take it upon yourself what has happened in the past so heavily that you put that onto the other people. I'm seeing a lot of white guilt that's happening, especially now in the time. Like, people that, like, there are people that I talk to regularly, and we're like legitimate friends. We hit each other up. They hit me up. They're like, yo, are you good? Did you need anything? Like, that's just how we live. Like, those are friends. Then you have people that, like, you don't even talk to at all, that are just like, are you okay? I want to hit you up and tell you one thing or another. And it's just like, you're only doing this now. Like, you need to, like, that's the subtle difference between that. It's not just because it's right now and there's something you're seeing on the news. You're like, I need to check on all my Black friends. Oh, it's Dre. You okay? What can I do for you? Okay, like, people are asking the same questions, and that question means a lot, but it means even more within the context that you're doing this. Is this something that you're asking normally because you know you have a friend that's going through a struggle and you want to be there, and you're constantly trying to be an ally, and that means being anti-racist? That means that you're actively recognizing, I don't know fully what it means, but I'm going to try today, and if I see something in the world, I'm going to call it out right then on the spot. That's what the key is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, you cut out again.
It's telling me to wrap it up.
No, sorry, no, that was great. And does that all make sense? Make sense to me? Is there anything to add to that from anybody?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Dre totally hit on the head, like, really well with that. And I think even to an extent here, like, as people are logging in now, there's a touch of white guilt happening at UP. There's people logging in right now who, have directed shows that have been, like, reoccurringly filled with, like, or written by a white artist or cast white characters. And then we have to look at the reason why you can't cast people of color, or then even more specifically Black people, because we don't have that same representation on stage, and therefore we don't have that same access to being on stage. So that compassion happens every other day of the year, outside of February and outside of when we're protesting someone gets killed. Happens every other day of the year, where like, something like this could have happened in December 2019 without any other thing to make going on in the world. So it's just really starting to think deeper about, like, how much of my life is so much in privilege that I'm not even thinking about the people who don't have this same access or opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're kind of referring to, there's a lot of playwrights that the way they wrote, they more wrote for Caucasian or white audiences.
Oh no, I mean specifically UP members picking white artists to portray on stage. I mean to use their works on stage, like with Tennessee Williams.
Oh, Tennessee Williams.
Or or the show that you just mentioned. I don't remember his name because sorry, but like it's not it doesn't matter to me as much, like just as much as like in what I say, James Baldwin, like that probably doesn't matter much to a lot of folks as a name in your mind to remember. So it's just like really trying to look into, like, get out of your own community. Like we've had to do Tennessee Williams. We've had to do these shows that I can't remember the white names of. So like, I think it's important that you think, and it's difficult, totally, but like we do it. So
yeah. Well, I'm wondering how you would feel if somebody did say, okay, we're gonna maybe a white actor might come out and say, okay, we're gonna do a scene in the style of August Wilson.
Yeah.
I think in their mind, it might feel like they could risk being offensive on there, in that August Wilson wants to make sure that he hires, I guess, Black directors, or make sure the play is done by Black directors and have all Black cast in there. So if we did it in the style of August Wilson, this is one example.
Yeah.
It could come across offensive, maybe, or not. It could come in people's minds. They're thinking that it could be offensive to a Black person. And does that make sense?
I think
I
think offensive to just not do something because you're not sure how to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one of the main themes between white guilt, tokenism, between racism is intent, and that is it's a self person. It's right in you. It'll come out if it's new to you. If this is a wake up call for you, and you're right, you don't know, but you have the intention to do good. It will show, and it will come out, and you will open yourself up for correction, which is needed. You need understanding. It's all about understanding each other and our experiences. Open yourself up for understanding. Open yourself up for correction. If you're doing it wrong, go forth with the intent to honor the craft. We're artists. I think it's a bad excuse to say we're so creative. We can play objects. Okay, we play objects. All right, we can do something. For us to negate it completely is offensive. For us to negate anything and leave a group out, it doesn't feel good. So start with compassion. Just start with basic humanity. It's not white guilt to help somebody with things burning in their eyes. It's compassion, and that can be seen with anybody. So I would say open yourself up to it. Allow yourself for correction. Okay, if you make a mistake, I think we all want we want to help. We want to flow. So just go in with that intention and trust the people you're on stage with. I mean, I trust you guys. Mm-hmm. I don't know that stuff sometimes, and I trust you guys, and we just go for it. And then you guys support me. You notice that you guys support me, and you guys make me look good. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. Let's just implement these things that we know. We all know. We all have the power to do this. This isn't just a Black guy's problem and solution. This is a conversation with everybody. And that's what I have to add to that.
And I love that. And I'd say for the people at home, leave it to the professionals. And for the professionals, that means you got to do something. We have a platform, we got to use it. You said it beautifully.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was going to ask, Tiffany's over there kind of monitoring the chat rooms, and I'm wondering if any questions may have come up that people would like to know.
Actually, there was just a question about how should we, who may want to play James Baldwin or Ishmael Reed or Maya Angelou, take on the issue of appropriation? So maybe a non-Black cast playing the style of a Black author, poet.
Okay, good question. If you didn't get that, so I'll repeat it. There was a question about if sorry.
So how would maybe
a non-Black actor
or improvisers play styles of, like Maya Angelou, for instance, to play a style without practicing appropriation?
Oh, great. Okay, so how would a white actor play like a Maya Angelou style without practicing or any style without practicing appropriations, I guess. Is there any?
That's a question you ask yourself. You ask yourself, how would I play this? How do I honor this craft? How do I honor the subject? How do I play Sesame Street? You think about it. You ask yourself, and then you go forth with it. It's going to be a case by case basis. There's not a one-all answer for this. It just really calls it's work.
But I also think that the question is confusing. So they're asking, how can I portray a part versus appropriation? And so appropriation is different from, hey, I'm doing a character for this moment in this time for a specific reason. Appropriation is, I'm doing a character to serve myself, to make fun of a situation or a certain group because I think this is funny, or I think this is gonna make me popular or whatever. It's for self-service. So the thing is, if you're doing a character because you believe that you can voice this character to a certain audience in a way that is informative, that's one thing. Doing something to serve yourself as a joke for fun because you think it's humorous, or where you're taking advantage of another culture is different. And so I think there's kind of that question though is a need of understanding of what appropriation is when it's self-serving versus being informative, using a character to inform.
And a caricature.
Yeah, or a stereotype, or
Right. I mean, a perfect example I think would be Dave Chappelle, who has often gone in whiteface, so to speak, where he's ashed his skin and he's portrayed white men in his sketches and on his show. But each time he has done that, he has owned the truth of those characters, though. They were caricatures, but there was truth in that. We saw white people laugh, black people laugh, everyone laughed together. And they saw the truth in the characters that he was portraying. And so whereas he was making fun, what do you call it? What's the word?
Satirical?
Huh?
Satirical?
Satirical, thank you very much. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think satirical.
It was commenting on social issues that we were having to face, and he was making a point. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just, I'm at a party and I look like this. I'm wearing this face because I'm at a party and ha ha ha, or I'm funny. He had something to say.
And I think also, if I can add one more thing to that, Jay.
Yes,
because I would never like to see anybody in blackface on the opposite side of that spectrum. Not to say that's what's gonna happen, but just in terms of hearing this, talking about this, and appropriation, and talking about that. When we do like Quentin Tarantino scenes, we're not thinking, I don't think I'm like offended Italians or Jewish people. And I know there's a huge difference in between what's happened historically between cultures, which makes it uncomfortable maybe for someone to hear Maya Angelou, James Baldwin. But when I'll speak for myself, and I've also, I've seen other Black actors have to do this. When we step on stage and take over, or we try to take on what is, a theme, we're not looking at the person and like who they are and talking about them as a Black person or like as a white person, Asian person. We're thinking about, okay, Maya Angelou, her themes are freedom, her themes are women's freedom, independence. So this is what we're looking at. So whoever's asking that question, like worried about appropriation, you're a little dangerous, and you need to start thinking about what is it that you're afraid of inside of you that makes you uncomfortable to play these roles, because they're not dangerous. It's actually, you're considering the race before you're considering the theme of the work. And
that's so great to hear. It's I think it's great to hear because we don't even think about it with the white playwrights as far as like Chekhov is Russian, or Tennessee Williams was Deep South, or different nationalities of playwrights who happen to be white. We should give the same respect to the Black playwrights, Hispanic, Latino. I mean, all the other playwrights of varying colors. Yeah, that's great. Great advice. And Tiffany has seen another question.
I've seen another question from somebody named Live the Question.
Live the Question. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a philosophical question about what's motivating you as a performer. Is it about what am I asking the audience to admire? Me, the actor, or the story, the style, and the author's insights? So it's maybe a kind of a philosophical about what you're choosing to perform for in the moment.
Me, the actor. So I think it's a combination of both. Sometimes it is me, the actor, and sometimes it's, I'm really into, you hit upon a story or a subject that really matters to you. But I do think there's sometimes a little bit of me, the actor, in there, where you want to do good. You want to feel like you're performing or being accepted. It's hard to be a performer and not have yourself into it. I mean, not have a bit of yourself be a part of it. And I'm saying this tongue in cheek. But I do think that, I think if someone was to say, oh no, I'm just always socially aware and everything I do is about, no. As performers, there's a bit of egotism that's involved. We're needy people. We are needy people.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of performers are introverted as well until they get on stage. Then that's their time to be explosive and extroverted. Yeah.
But I do think we are out there to say something for overall. Again, I'm like I said, tongue in cheek. I do think most artists are out there because they are artists and they believe in what they're doing, and they're, they have something to say in a way that, this is their venue. This is the only way that they can get their voice out, and I do think that most artists are working from that point of view of, expression and not so much egotism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you usually find out that you're good when you get off stage. If you're on stage thinking about it, then you're probably distracted and not having fun. That's the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You had another one?
Yeah, right. So there's another question.
Giving everybody else the proper light. Like, really, that's what it's about. You're on the stage with the most talented people that you know. So whenever you're on stage with them, it's all about highlighting them and their work. It's about, of course, being willing to take your own spotlight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People in front of you. I can't be worried about the metaphysical people that might be watching somewhere elsewhere. I'm doing it for the people that are right here that asked for it, and they asked for it for a reason. So I'm going to give it to you in the best way that I can and support these people who are dope. All of them, dope. Just look at this. I can just say something and throw you out there, and then you'll survive because you're that dope. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. And, did you have another one?
Yeah, so there's a question about how do you feel about the ensemble pictures on the wall?
Wow, that's a great question.
I know how some of you feel. I do, but I'll let you each answer that. How do you feel about the ensemble pictures on the wall? I don't have that one ready.
How do you feel, Issiah? How do you feel about that, Isaiah?
I think it's fucked up. No. I honestly like it because it's a very literal representation of how the times are, especially within arts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was definitely Black improvisers and Black theater people in Seattle in the 80s and 90s and 70s. And you know what I mean? And just depending on economic status or whatever happens, UP has the people they have, and you could tell as time goes on, like, oh, there goes more women, oh, there goes a different age group, and oh, there goes the people of color right down there. And it's just a person And like, if you look at the times on like, because there's like the days or like the year that we joined, like you can tell like the time is pretty accurate with the pictures. You know what I mean? Because like it, you know, it's pretty acceptable to throw a black face on everything. Like Netflix, Hulu, everything wants to have a black face on it. You know, pretty coincidental that, you know, UP started getting some black faces all at once too. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's alumni like Selena, and like there's another random black alumni face and like near the bathrooms that pop up through UP. But like on a consistent basis, in one swoop, like that wall is perfect in showing you how America is with arts right now, which is, you know, black is always in, but black is in right now. You know,
Yeah.
so I love it. I love it.
You love it. Good.
For it.
I'm glad you love it. And I've kind of sort of I've had to kind of fight to keep it that way because it's about history for me. It's just a history, a timeline. But I have had Selena. Would you like to share your opinion?
Oh fuck. That ish is fucked up. I mean, my picture isn't even up there. You would have never known that I had been a part of UP.
Right. No, for real.
You
Yeah.
guys are just like, where she got from? Oh,
No,
I was
for real.
there. 5 years of my life. And I don't exist
Wow, I didn't
anymore.
know 5.
Would have
Wow.
never known. See, look at that.
For me to come in there all these years later and to look at the wall, I mean, it was just like, and all the black people on the bottom holding up all the white people. I was like, this is still fucked up.
I have a. I'm gonna share the screen. I
like
hope
to be the
that.
black people
Oh, my
holding up the white people. And it was like laid out on the wall. It's just like you need to shuffle that ish. Mix up the years. Don't have it in chron order because it looks really bad when you stand there and look at that. You're just like, whoa. I mean, it just like show what happened. It just like shows the whole history.
Oh, wow.
Can you guys see it?
There
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah, we see
There's
it.
Jay. I was like,
It's like look at the
What
first
happened to
row.
me?
You can just tell,
And
like,
then you go all the way down, and all the black people are on the bottom motherfucking row.
Hey, starting the train with the mini fro.
It's crazy.
Like-
Mix it
like
up
you
so
can
that you at
see.
least look like you tried.
yeah, row by row, you can
Oh
tell,
my
like,
God.
oh, let's add more women. Oh, let's throw an Asian woman in there. Oh, let's throw some young people in there. You know, you can tell row by row. It's like they trying to, you know, it's like just making up for time.
Oh man, yeah. And I got to tell you, this headshot wall has had more controversy. There was one point where people put it. Somebody came in, they snuck in. I think they were drunk. They put everything in alphabetical order. I was like, no, and I moved everything back on the date. And then I get
That's
like from Tim Tracy, who's if you don't know Tim, he's up there, second row, third over with the
You
glasses.
say Jim Tracy?
No,
Who's the
Tim
first?
Tracy.
Oh.
He started yelling at me. He goes, "Hey, how did I move back?" Because I added Rich Hawken and I added people who were here a long time ago, and you know, but so everybody shifted and went back down another notch. And I'm getting emails from certain people. But anyway, yeah, I know, I understand, Selena. Yeah, I could reverse the order. But
it looks bad.
But it's a testament of the
bad.
times. I think we need to keep it. It shows them. It shows what it's been. You
Yeah.
can reverse it whatever way you want to do it, but like the theater didn't look like this before. Black Ice brought the most black people I've ever seen in this theater.
Damn,
I just
Dre.
want to know what happened to
Right.
me. What happened to me?
No, because it's
Why
like
did the black girl get cut?
I just see it how it's like Looney Tunes, for example. Like when they're showing their old cartoons, they have a little statement at the front that says, "We understand this episode might be extremely sensitive, but we're not going to block it out because to do that would mean as though erasing the past, as though it never happened." So, you know, it's like acknowledging the fact, like, hey, this is what we did, and like you have to stand on it because you did it, you know, just how Looney Tunes is, and they're proud on that. And I respect the Looney Tunes even more for the fact that they're going to show their ugly history and show like their progression, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So that's why I love it, because it just shows that the acknowledgement of where y'all was standing and where we're standing now. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But we need
I agree.
Selena's photo up there. We need Selena's photo up there. I don't care where it's at, but throw it up there. Other than that, it's beautiful. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, some part of that, there was a question, I guess, for me to explain why I kind of fought to keep it, and it's for that exact reason that Issiah said. It's for history, and that's why now all the dates are on it. I put the dates on it, so now if we mix them up, we're like, wait a minute, what? People have brought their kids to see it. People who were kids when they came to see theater sports back when it started in the early 80s, 83, now bring their kids to it. Or they'll say, oh, I used to come to theater sports all the time. I'm too old now. Oh, that guy's still there? Who's the guy with the white hair? Is that Randy? What? Or they'll recognize people from a long time ago. Occasionally I'll see, I'll hear, these optics are really bad. All the black people and old people are on the bottom. And but it's just for me a historical archive, I guess, or people come in and they can find out where they are, and also people get excited when they move up. I remember Tiffany when she was on the bottom, and now she's fourth from the top. People drop out, So anyway, so I apologize if the optics are bad. It's a history.
So is it representative of all of the people who are currently active?
Yes, that's it's representative of all of the active members and the alumni. There was an alumni wall back in the hallway by the bathrooms. Sorry, enhanced bathroom. And we just removed it because we're gonna redo it, and we're cleaning it. So you'll get back up there. Don't worry. We'll get you on there, and we may have to move Obadiah and Thandi over there too.
That's fine. Selena needs it. That's her spot.
Obviously, I'm emotional about it.
No, well,
yeah, you should be. It's good.
There's another question coming up, but I first just want to. I gotta put this picture up. I love this picture. It's our black ice.
Oh, that is a great picture.
Hey.
Yeah.
I've never seen that picture before.
That's a good one.
Jay in the background, just like these guys driving me wild.
Yeah.
That photo's very accurate.
Aww.
Yeah.
I love that picture. That's a great picture. You need to send us this picture.
Oh yeah, I will.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
That's my family.
Yeah, it is, and people, the viewing audience, they don't know this, but when I first saw these guys, I started tearing up, and I had to get up and leave and for a minute. But yeah, I feel like you guys are our family after playing your dad, and then uncle
Or brother, whatever.
brother, yeah, brother and wife,
Brother, uncle.
yeah. But yeah, it was great times, and what I loved about it too is we didn't try to make it controversial or anything. Stuff would just come out when Thandi came out and said somebody just called me light skin.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that
was
really
me.
happened to me. Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, I guess there's another question here. Did you have another one?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
I have one question from Sid, who's a member of the
Sid.
community, talking about tokenism earlier. So he's saying, he wanted to know, have y'all ever felt as a POC that you were cast in a show to be a token and that's screwing with your confidence as a performer? And what will you just say to someone who is a POC who sometimes feels that way?
Okay, so for the viewing land, yeah. So Sid would be Indian, and he feels like he's been cast in shows that.
Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe they heard the question.
I mean, we can hear Tiffany.
If being cast as feeling like maybe there's tokenism and that might impact your confidence as a performer, how do you overcome that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. How do you overcome that?
Oh man, Sid, that's one of the realest, bro. That reminds me when I was like starting off at SPU, trying to do this acting thing in college while doing philosophy and stuff. And
Oh,
Damn.
Dre, bro.
Somebody got to get it.
Dre.
If I could say something while that's buffering
Dre, well-
and loading.
Oh, it's buffering.
Yeah, thank you. I say in response to that again, you know, that's something that's on other people. Other people are going to see you, especially, I'll speak from my own experience. I get a lot of assumptions about me. I'm attractive, I'm very bold, I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman. I get a lot of people that have their own inference of who maybe I should be or where I'm gonna fit, but as far as my own confidence, I don't see myself that way. I have to think about how I see myself and also remember that we have the power to tell the story that we want to tell, especially when we're on stage. And we're, way to go, Tiffany, you're saving the day. Scary movie. But yeah, just tell the story that you want to tell. Show people who you want to tell. And also, sometimes you're going to be a token. I'm the only Black girl in UP. Well, at the time on that, I didn't have the luxury to work with Selena until Black Ice. But before that, just me. So it might come off as tokenism. It might be tokenism. It doesn't matter. Right now, I have my moment, and I have a voice. I have the performance. I have my own confidence and my own being of what I want to portray, and then I have the space to do it. So it may happen. I mean, but you have to make the best and know what you want to do as a performer, and also have your own boundaries. If you feel like it's something completely tokenism that you don't want to be a part of, no, don't do it, because that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, stand up for that. And if people care about you, they will inquire and change their pace.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think especially like living in Seattle, you know, like 8 times out of 10 you're going to be normally the only person of color, whether it's like within arts or like anything, period. So I think it's as like easier said than done, and it sounds a little corny, but you got to like use it to your own advantage, you know what I mean? Because if it is that situation and it is tokenism, you clearly have an advantage over them off the bat, just being a person of color, you know. And like that brings its own flavor as it is, you know what I mean? So you just have to internalize and keep that mental stability that, you know, you are literally bringing your own thing on stage that no one else is going to bring, you know what I mean? And you have to put that out there, you know, because people are going to see you regardless if you are the only person of color. So, you know, you just have to use that as a weapon instead of using it as a weapon against you. You know, it's easier said than done. You know, like I'm a very like confident person in my performance, so I've never like felt like I'm more of a this is going to be my weapon rather than your weapon type of situation. You know, not to make it that confrontational, but you know, because that type of stuff does hurt color. You know, like their mental, like their anxiety, and it does affect their performance. You know, it is a weapon against them. So that's why I say make it a weapon for you, so you can make it an overall great performance. You know, not necessarily trying to make it at the person that's making you the token. Just make it a weapon against your own anxiety. So yeah.
And I like
I
that.
have something else to add on that too.
Oh, go ahead.
Who's that? Oh, okay, cool. On top of that, I mean, if you've ever seen like the CW or like, you know, there's a lot of mediocre white people who are on stage. And I'm saying that like mediocre, like they go on there because I've been on stage with that same fear, Sid, and I've seen you perform, and I know you're a great performer. So that there's a balance that's being made because it's been decades, centuries of white performers on stage doing basic shit. So just feel like when you're on stage that you don't have the opportunity to show how great you are. The same way that, you know, even a white person who showed up mediocre, they showed up like they could do it. So really, it's showing up on stage like you're a mediocre white man and just being like, and that night for you, you're gonna be like the most fire performer. So just have, like Isaiah's saying, have confidence in that fire that's in you, because it's there, and that's what someone saw that brought you on stage. Just keep that in your heart. Yeah.
One of the things that I
want to add one more thing to that that wasn't touched on is tokenism. Sometimes it's not about tokenism. Sometimes it's about because you're such a great talent, and they just want to put you in the show. I've had someone come to me and they were just like, we didn't have a part for you, and we just so thought you were amazing. We're gonna write a part for you. So look at it also that it could be just a compliment that you are that awesome. You know, so don't sell yourself short. It could be that they just really want to work with you and feel that you are going to bring something to the table that they might not even know what it is yet. They just know they need you. So I think a lot of times we kind of sell ourselves short too. So just, it's not always about tokenism. It sometimes is just about you're that awesome.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. There's definitely a line. I'm checking to make sure I'm not cutting out. Okay. So there's definitely a line with that. But if you're a person of color, like getting cast in very pointed roles, like my first roles coming into this acting thing was I was a rapping bridge troll. I only spoke in rhyme, and they gave me dreadlocks because I was a beatnik. I was Howie in Our Town, the neighborhood milkman. I was like, I don't know, man. I can keep going on this list of like spots. I was in the Helen Keller, the story, and I was a house hand, like the father of the little black kids running around kind of thing.
Damn.
There it goes again.
We're gonna. I'm gonna move. Hey, Dre, I'm sorry. We're gonna go ahead and now you're gonna sit right next to me. We are going to. I know you don't have a disease, so I'm gonna have you just sit next to me. I'm
kind of really digging on him breathing like that every so often. It's just cracking me up.
Sorry. Oh,
Got it.
there's Tony. Hi, Tony. Oh, okay. We're breaking some rules here. We're here we go.
It's gonna freeze now.
No, you'll be good. You'll be fine. Like I said, if you're coming in late, Dre and Tiffany filmed a video for the Market Foundation, and what's that? June 18th for June 18th thing, and so he was down here, and so we were trying to socially distance, and you know what? We're just having our own little mini riot.
Got you, bro. It's fine. I'll be socially distanced. I'll wear my mask.
No, you're good. No. You
All
don't
right,
have to
go
do
right
that.
here.
No, we're good.
No, we're good.
We're good.
I was just saying, if you need me to wear a mask, I'm ready.
Oh man. All right. No, you're good. Yeah, we'll just quarantine ourselves later. All right.
I think quarantine's over, and I don't think
Miss
we're
you
on lockdown
guys.
either.
I think you can have a minimum of 2 people sitting next to each other in front of a video. I think that's the rule.
Oh my God.
What's that? Are you good in there? Okay.
I miss touching people.
Okay, we're okay. We're sorry for the
We're okay.
We're all good. We'll as long as it doesn't echo, it might echo. Oh boy, here's where it all goes to hell. I guess it's 10 o'clock, but we can keep keep it going a little bit.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll keep some. If it's okay, if you want to keep it going a little bit longer.
Like 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 15 or so.
Question for Selena.
There's a question for Selena, specifically for Selena. So
there's a question from Selena. But besides the headshot wall, what other changes? What other changes have you seen at Unexpected Production since you first were part of it versus now when you are part of Black Ice?
I'm sorry, I got besides the changes on the wall, and then I didn't get anything else.
yeah. So what other changes have you noticed since you were a part of it? When you came back to Unexpected Productions, besides just being in Black Ice, like what were other little changes that you may have noticed?
The bar, the awesome bar, just the the theater as a whole changed in terms of just how it looks. But the obvious change for me was seeing Black people. And that was the most important change, was seeing other Black people. And to me, that was the only change that mattered.
Oh.
You noticed on the wall, huh?
Well, no, I noticed because of coming to do Black Eyes. But then seeing the wall and just seeing the number of Black people, small, but just that there was more than one. So I was very happy about that, was seeing the diversity, seeing that the attempt at diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think UP could do a little better. I mean, I think, you know, there's more. Change is slow to come, but, you know, just seeing that, you know, meeting, what is her name? Lorna, the Hispanic woman. What is her name?
Olila.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just seeing that there was an attempt at diversity. Seeing that there was some diversity just did my heart great.
Oh, that's, and you know, the big thing about that is we did choose talented people. It's not just based on diversity, but it's a lot of talent there, you know.
But the thing is you guys have found a way to reach out to where people of color are hearing that they can come there, or hearing that there's opportunities for them there. Whereas I don't think that was necessarily done in the past. A reach out or a way to where more people of color was hearing that there were these opportunities available at UP.
And
I mean, like for me, you specifically recruited me. It wasn't like I knew about UP and came there. You talked to me and recruited me, you know, so I just think that it's those kind of efforts I think they need to do, and whatever they did to bring you guys forward, you know, however you know, it sounds like a lot of it was accidental because you came to see shows there or whatever, but I just feel that it would be great if UP put out more efforts to reach out to people of color, because there is a wealth of talent. And I don't think that, I mean, even when you look at the audiences, it's not that diverse all the time. And so I just think UP could stand to put out a more concerted effort to reach people of color.
Okay. Well, we might have to come to you to ask advice on maybe how to do that more. So like how to be better at it, like all of you, to, you know.
I'll make a note on that, Jay.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Thank you. No, I think that's totally accurate. And coming from earlier in the discussion when we talked about where we all came into UP from, I was noticing that everybody is in connection with another Black person, and that's a really important fact. I mean, it's us being here and us being able to be on stage, and us being able to be represented on stage, that people are interested. The fact that I showed up because Chelsea was here, and I stayed because Thandi was there, you know, and Dre. So like it's the same way, like you feel uncomfortable doing that Maya Angelou thing. It's like, I'm unfamiliar with it, so I'm not going to do it. But when I'm familiar with what's going on, I'm going to show up. So I think it's really important, yeah, like you're saying, to continue that outreach, which is something, we're all thinking about. TrIO is definitely working on right now some things for that. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we have time for one more. One final question, and then we'll do a general wrap up. And so what's the final question?
So the final question is from Amalia Larson, who is an Improv 100.
I love Amalia.
Teacher in the region. Cool. And a lot of her students are taking improv for the very first time. So she's wondering, what foundation do you need her or other teachers to make sure that this positive momentum is kept up in terms of growing our community, and, you know, maybe kind of layering on this, everything that we've talked about tonight, to make sure that teachers and directors and people in leadership in the improv community and everyone can continue to spread that positive message to new and old and everybody.
Great. Yeah. Anybody want to take that?
Keep trying. Just keep trying.
Yeah.
Every opportunity you have, try.
Yeah. Like,
and ask questions.
Whatever research you're doing now, because people are telling you to, or whatever news outlets or social media outlets you're looking for towards the protests or riots, or looking for knowledge ways to help, like, keep looking towards those ways. Like, these social justice issues doesn't end because it's not trending or we're not in the streets protesting. Like, this shit is a daily occurrence, you know what I mean? And it's really, we can't keep doing these talks and letting y'all know what we feel and think, because Google is right there, y'all. Like, it's like the same thing y'all would do of looking up anything. Like, keep yourself involved in research. It's an ever evolving thing. There's so many things you can keep learning. Just anything, like, just keep trying. Just Andre said, keep trying and don't stop trying. If you need more ways to keep trying, let me know. I'll send you more links. You know what I mean? But it's like, just keep actively trying. You know, you're smart people. Like, we do improv for a reason, because we're creative people. Like, think outside the box. You know what I mean? There's so many ways, and I cannot stress enough how great Google is. Whatever question you thought of asking a person of color, just type it in Google first. And just
I think it works. I think it works. I think it works. Yeah.
I promise you, like, it might help you a bit, instead of asking that person of color something they've probably been asked 20 times. So yeah, that's my input on that.
20 times this week.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep that compassion that we talked about earlier, you know, and get the compassion before you get the guilt. And just think about what you can do to support communities that don't have as much as you have. I mean, everybody should be doing it. Even I should be doing it with my gender or in my class. Like, those things should be on your mind all the time as a white person, or I don't know who's that, wherever you're coming from, whoever you are. So I think about who you have privilege over, because your privilege means someone's oppression. So you have to be thinking about, like, how can I give back to that?
Oh yeah, that I love that. Get the compassion before you get the guilt. That's so good.
Right.
Maybe that should be the next shirt.
I think it goes back to the basics too, of just do unto
You don't
others
always
as you
have to
want
be in the
others to
middle
do
of the
unto you.
street, on the front line, doing it in front of everybody so that they can all see. There are things that you can do in your own way to be anti-racist and to be progressive in your own communities. Even now, like, they're planning like a day on the 7th of July where no people of color spend any money in white corporate America, and any white folks that feel like they want to be allies only spend your money that day in Black businesses. One day is not going to change much, maybe $14 billion, but what it'll do is show that we can. And if we can do something that per day, a week, a month, like, really take time to focus where we're putting our funds, what we're putting our money and time into, that can change the issue. Like, when's the last time you've seen a primarily Black casted movie that wasn't Black Panther? That doesn't mean they haven't been made since then and before then. That just means that's not what's in your privy. And how do you even find those? Like, I mean, it starts with you being willing to search outside of what's already in your face.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to give it to you unless you ask Google first. I love that. Yes.
No, yeah, Dre and I was able to have a point, because as Black people, as people of color, even as women or queer people, like, we've all had to read the history of the straight white man in school. So now, like, outside of school, we're like, we're not the professors. Like, you got to go to the books like we did and figure out the history that we have as, you know, different groups of people, and then use that history to be a human.
That's really great advice. And I think another thing that I really would love is for people to get to know each other as people more. I mean, the very first part of this whole talk was getting to know your journey through improv, and there's so much more I wanted to talk about. So much more. Like, we didn't even talk about these riots, these protests. We didn't talk about George or Amy. You know what I'm talking about. You know, there's so much. We just scratched the surface. So I hope that people will get to know one another and get to know our values and what drives us and what motivates us, and find out maybe more of the reasons why maybe we react the way we react, or for me, it's just get to know each other. more.
Yeah.
To find that compassion and make it more as compassion or as a friend versus using it because you want to solve your guilt issue.
I have a point actually to that, Jay, as like a closing thing. I'll stop talking after this.
No, yeah.
Okay. So TrIO right now we're working on fundraising in order to be able
can I
to.
say something before you get to that?
Sure. Yeah.
Only because I want to wrap up about like the what to do or whatever before we get to that. I want to say that we all have a lot of ideas and a lot of avenues. I think that we can support each other in the common goal, which is to get justice. I think we do need to mention what's going on, George Floyd, and the other person. I don't know. We don't know everybody, but we should mention their name because that is what this is about. All of this whole conversation are things that we could get on your own. I wanted to get into that before you got into something that you don't know about yet, which is what TrIO is about to get into. But just think about your own community, and then think about who is in your community, because this isn't just a Black community thing. This is your community as well. This is for who I'm speaking to. This is white people. This is you. This is everybody. This is an injustice that's happening in our community, and we need to work together. What do we do in general when we want to raise awareness, when we want to cause change? We do the same thing. So we need to put our money where our mouth is. We need to speak about it. We need to raise awareness. We need to give compassion to our neighbors and go forth in that way. We already have these answers. You guys have them just as much as we do. And we need to go forth. Now that we're realizing, some of us are now just realizing it's a problem. We've already been there. We're going towards solutions. So speaking of, that is a segue towards TrIO and what we are trying to do. Something that you may not know, that you may not could Google yet, what we're trying to do in the Black community, and as far as what's going on right now, which is really always, it's not just right now, but
it's been happening.
Thank you. That's perfect. So if I could take it from there, Thandi. In terms of like what we're looking to do as TrIO. I mean, all three of us have got messages from multiple people, and we've been asked to do work, in order to teach people how to interact with what's going on these days. And we're all very generous folks, so we're willing to do that. We want to see a better world. So we're putting together a fundraiser where people can donate however much you can for TrIO to be able to execute programming and performances wherever we can in Black communities across as far as the money will take us. We want to be able to go and do the shows that we do and face those suggestions that we face that we're not afraid to take. Where we want to do prison, we want to do slavery, we also want to do affluence, we also want to do Black Panther. We want to be the humans that we are, and show the world that Black improvisers are people, and Black people are people. We're humans. Like we've been under so much pressure for the last 400 years, and we don't get to see ourselves represented in places where there's happiness very frequently, or where there's affluence, like in media and things like that. Even on stage at UP, and we've heard a lot of people like, how can I help? And right now, one way to help is to give us money. Go into your pockets and give TrIO money, and we will use that money to go into communities that don't see Black performers on stage. And we want to make sure that we get audiences that are full of all types of people. But I think, for me personally, I think for Issiah and Thandi as well, it's important for us to be in front of Black audiences where they can see that improv is something that they can do too, because it's something that we showed each other that we can do, and we want to bring that to as many people as possible. So I can send you that link, Jay, if you could send out to everybody.
You should support that.
Yeah, if you have a link or a thing, you can send it to me. We can make sure that we blast it out as well.
Send it to me too. I have a pretty good network. Send it to me.
People really love you guys, and that they'll forward it on, and they'll donate. You'll be well taken care of. And keep keep doing it, keep working at it.
We really appreciate the community, man. Like, this is the community we come from, and we see the issues. And I'm personally, I'll speak for me. I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to have these conversations and to try to be honest as possible. And I want to let, like, it's work for us too. You know, it's work for us to have to do this every day. You know, it's not just when someone's murdered in this protest. This is something that we think about constantly. We talk about off stage. So it's really important to us that this message gets out, that we can share this love that is in the community with everybody, not just the people who have access to it right now.
That's nice. And what was that, Tiffany? What?
Oh, just that you can find TrIO Improv on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Tiffany just mentioned, sorry.
Yeah, we'll put it up down there too.
So you can find TrIO Improv. You can go to TrIO Improv on Facebook, and all your links and your info is there at the Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put it up right after this. We just finished the GoFundMe. It's up right now under Improv the World.
Improv the World. Okay.
Improv the World. And yeah, it'll be my name. You can put my name, Isaiah's name, or Thandi's name, and it should come up on GoFundMe. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Yeah, I think people are wondering like what they can donate to, and of course, Unexpected Productions could, you know, we can help filter some of the money to you.
Yeah, that's one route, you know, and I'm saying like that's definitely one route. Like, sign the petitions, find other organizations that can help in getting justice. We've all been saying, do research and find places where you feel like your money should go, and please help out. I mean, we're already doing it by signing into this, so thank you. But you know, there's more to do. Always more to do. And so we're all
Oh boy, I think we're about. I guess we're wrapping it up here. I just wanted to add one more little picture because this is kind of what brought us here. And I'm walking down Pike Street, and just literally right across the street from us, we have this nice mural now of George Floyd. It's up on.
Oh really?
Right
Really?
across from Starbucks. It's right across from Starbucks up there.
Dang, they painted that fast.
Yeah, the old Seattle Coffee Works. It's painted right on there, right on the plywood that's keeping people from breaking in. And people around here, even though, you know, a lot of stuff is exploding, I think people are going to remember this time more than. So when I grew up, the first video of somebody getting beaten by cops was Rodney King. It was kind of the first video, and then there's been multiple since. I guess the final question is: do you think this one might cause a change? Do you think this one's different than, say, the ones from 30 years ago or 50 years ago, and Martin Luther King?
Or the ones from last week, or the week before last week.
Or a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, like the riots, the stuff that's happening now in the world. Do you think it'll finally make some kind of change, or
I don't think it'll make change until the person who's out here like killing people. If you're murdering people, you serve life sentences for murder. And if you sat there watching someone who is equally as armed as you, who's supposed to serve and protect like you, murder someone, you should also be tried with murder as an accomplice. But what do I know? I'm not a judge.
What needs to be changed, none of these incidences are more than the other. It's a disgusting habit. I think the way it was phrased was a little bit, will this change? There is no honor. That death of any of them should have never happened. What needs to change is a nation that is not okay with injustice. Is a nation that is not okay with murder and not okay with it going uncharged. That's what needs to change. So I think that'll change when we change this society, when the powers that be that right now are okay with murderers being in charge of our protection. That's what needs to change. It's that we cannot advocate more that we are human. We cannot be more. I'm not going to say anything more or prove to anyone that I'm more human than I am now, that I'm worthy of life, that I'm worthy to jog down the street, that I'm worthy of my murder being convicted. So what needs to change is the mindset there that we just need to not be okay with racism. We need to not be okay with murder being let off. We need to not be okay with it. Not be okay with it with our words, in our speech, in our media, in our press.
in every way, it's multiple ways. So in any way you can do that, that's what you need to go forth and preach that.
Oh man, well said. I love that. And I know all of us have had experiences, with being discriminated against, and some worse than others. I do hope that something does happen with that. I do hope. I mean, it takes people to vote. People have to get out there and vote. We just have to fight, keep fighting for it, keep putting up a fight for it, and also keep our own compassion and
educate. I think a lot of it is education.
Yes, educate, and again, one of my favorite videos was of there were three Black women standing in front of the Nordstrom's broken window, making sure nobody went in to loot it, and they were saying, yeah, President Trump keeps calling the protesters thugs, and so I don't, if we do this, then we are thugs. I don't want this to happen. We don't want this to happen. We don't want it to be like that. We don't want to be called thugs. So they were like guarding the Nordstroms, and I do gotta end it with one of my favorite pictures there. So we don't need to necessarily end on a sad note. We can end on the lady stealing cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory.
I heard when she took the cheesecake, eyewitness said, she said, "Oh, I need utensils." Went back in, got fucking utensils. And that wine glass under the cheesecake, she got all that shit. She got all that. Like that was premeditated. And you can see in her eyes she don't care. And I ain't mad at her.
She got two white glasses.
Like, how are you an honest thief? She said, "Oh, utensils." Girl, you are stealing. If you don't get the hell up out of here. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So many kills.
Man.
That cheesecake looks great too.
No, she knew what she was doing. She's been eyeing that for weeks, passing by it.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, that's more like this is more like a commercial for
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, actually it is. We're so good, we get looted.
It was pretty nicely doing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So good, you will loot.
No, for real. It does look good like that. It is how good.
Oh, man. I gotta hire you.
No, there's no monetary value, and we so good.
Well, guys, it was so nice talking with you. And I know this won't be the last time. But again, thank you guys for coming on here and just having an honest, open, real talk about things and about improv and the state of the world. And thank you TrIO now for doing the work that you're going to be doing. That's awesome. And we got to remember Selena's festival on August 1st.
August 1st.
Good stock.
Good stock.
Good stock. Yes.
Taking stock in the hood.
Yeah. And Dre's always doing something.
Yay. Do you know, are there going to be more of these talks? Is this going to be the only show, or are you guys going to do this, dedicate your theater sports show to the cause that's happening, or another show that has wider audience, really?
Oh, we can. We'll talk about it. They were. One of the things we were doing was we were definitely changing up the shows this week. There's a chance of maybe canceling or rebroadcasting this one at other times as well, because it hit so fast. But we did improvise. We trying to improvise, and so I don't know. I'll have to talk to our staff and figure out what else we can do. We typically do have shows, Thursday, Friday, a talk on Saturday, then a show on Saturday night. There's a chance they either may not happen or they may change. But I'll talk to the staff. I'll talk to Randy and.
For me personally, it's been so great speaking with you guys. It would be really nice allies as well speak with me and just say that we're here and we're fighting, and we're also present in this. I mean, they may be, but I can't see them like I can you guys.
Yeah, I can't see.
And that's really who the conversation, that's really who needs to say the conversation. We've been saying this already. We're not saying anything new. We need to speak about it to the people who need to listen, and the people who are not listening to us may listen to our allies. So allies, let's go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Stand with us. I would love to sit with you. This is not a, this is us. This is us versus some bullshit. Let's help it out.
And would that be something you'd want to do this week? More stuff this week, but different. I know this is a long, nice conversation, but maybe get into some other art forms that speak out on this. Is it something you might be interested in? You don't have to answer now. You can think about it.
I'm down.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Well, yes. I'll definitely tell you. I know you're all down. You're all down with it. We're all. You're all down. Anyway. Yeah. Once again, thank you. Thank you so much. And
thank you, Jay, for organizing this and bringing us together. It's so great to see all of you. I miss your beautiful faces.
Same.
I miss you.
Likewise.
I better give a little shout out to Cliff Barnes and Patrick Tolden.
Yes.
Kelsey out there in the house. Yeah. If they're out there. Great parts of the. My favorite line of Cliff's was, they gave us an extra day. So we did Black Ice during Black History Month. It was legal. But anyway, thank you. And I also want to thank, I believe Joe Dixon, Randy's son, was helping with the chat room in Twitch.
Thank you, Joe.
JD, I see you out here.
Yeah. Are you watching them? And again, thank you to the other staff. We had Kent and Randy, Jill, all the staff that helped out. Tiffany, thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thanks, Tiff.
Hey, beautiful.
It was so nice to see you all. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, and just your words were so inspiring, and I was happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you, lovely.
Thank you.
And can Tony show his face? Can Tony go ahead and show his face?
Show your face. We want to see your face.
Hey,
Tony.
I miss you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Hey, Tony. We like the things you do.
Well, I love the things you guys do, so do more.
Thanks for mixing it for us. We needed that.
And when this is over, we're going to have a discussion. Just kidding. Anyway, once again, thank you. We'll stop the live stream. If you want to stick around for a few minutes after this, we can do that too. Once again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sid, and all the people who had questions. Everybody.
Thank you, question people.
Shout out to Amalia.
Thank you. Go with love.
Thank you.
And compassion. Feel your feels.
Yes. And watch for these guys. Keep watching. They're gonna be doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully. More stuff. All right.
Yeah.
If you have any footage of your protests surrounding your area, feel free to send them to me on the Book of Face or any other ways to holler at your boy. That would be really great to have your footage for this project I'm working on. We'll get into it later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good night. And don't let us know when we're done live streaming.
All right, I've taken you out.
With a cheesecake there after the Cheesecake Factory was looted. Unclear where they may have gotten that, but